Hi everyone, my name is John. I felt compelled to make this video because almost exactly 6 years ago I started what was to be my final attempt at weight loss. At the time I was almost 400 pounds. I believe I was around 387 at my best estimate. It was a little hard to tell because most scales would just say error on them when I stood on them, but I decided to give it one last effort, and I'll get into that a little more. But what I found really important at the time was when I decided to try it, I would scour the web for success stories, because I needed to somehow prove to myself that it was possible, because it seemed so impossible to me, and I needed to find some examples of some people that had accomplished it and had actually lost weight and kept it off for an extended period of time. Now that I have done that, I've lost over 190 pounds, and I've kept it off for 6 years now, or 6 years since I started. I feel like if I can have an opportunity to do that for someone else, to encourage them that it is possible, even if it's just for one person, that I'm happy to take the time it takes to make this video and post it and let it be an encouragement to you. If I go back 6 years ago, I was, as I mentioned, almost 400 pounds, and I would have been 42 years old, and I had been morbidly obese almost my entire life. There was maybe a small period when I was a teenager when my metabolism really helped with losing some of that weight, and I got down to something approximating normal for a short while. In my 20s, I began gaining weight again, and it was a steady progression up until when I was maybe right around 30 years old. I decided I really had to do something. So I made my first big attempt at losing weight at that point. I followed a diet at that time which was extremely low fat, extremely high grains, whole grains, and almost vegetarian, I would say, very little meat. And the long story short is I ended up very sick. I ended up on depression medication. It was not working well for me at all. I did lose about 70 pounds, but I felt so horrible that after about 7 or 8 months, I had to go back to my regular way of eating, and that made me feel a little bit better, but all the weight came back and then some. Fast forward a few more years, I tried another diet which was offered by a local clinic. I guess they're actually an international clinic, but there was a local office, and it was a low carbohydrate and low calorie diet at the time they were prescribing. It involved vitamin B injections, and it was the first time I was introduced to the concept of ketosis, and it worked not too bad. I lost about 100 pounds. I got down to somewhere in the high to mid 200s, and but I found it unsustainable. I believe it was like I added it up. They had me on about 800 calories a day, and again, I was not feeling very well. I ended up going off of it, and of course gained all the weight back again. Fast forward to New Year's Eve 6 years ago. So that would have been in New Year's Eve of 2014, I guess it would be. I was thinking about my New Year's resolution, and I was really tired of every year resolving to lose weight, because every year I proved myself to be either a liar to myself or completely incapable of having any control over what I ate or my diet or anything like that. So I told myself I wasn't going to make a resolution that year to lose weight. What I did resolve to do was that I was going to study weight loss one last time, and that if I chose to, and I didn't tell myself that I had to choose to, but I told myself that if I chose to, I would give it one more attempt, and that if that attempt also failed, then I would give up and expect that the rest of my life would be probably short and uncomfortable, much like my mother's was. To give you a bit of my family history, my mother also was obese most of her life. In her mid-40s, she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. She was given the standard diabetes treatment. This would have been about 25 years ago. She got worse. She eventually needed bypass surgery, and she kept getting worse, and she eventually died at the age of 58. That future was in my cards, to be honest. It was going the same way for me. I was not diabetic yet at the age of 42, but I certainly had all the signs of pre-diabetes, and I was just expecting that eventually I would get that diagnosis. And I knew if I did nothing that I would be fortunate if I lived to the same age that my mother did, around age 58. So I resolved that I'm going to make a longer version of this video that will give you more details of what I went through and how I got to where I got, and the different things I tried and the different things I did. But suffice it to say that in mid-January of 2014 or 15, I'm not sure, it's a while ago, 5 or 6 years ago, I decided, I looked into the ketogenic diet, which was similar to the diet I'd previously been on, but not calorie restrictive, and I decided I was going to give that a try. And again, if it worked, great. If not, I was done trying. And so I started the diet, and I began to eat high fat, low carb. I tried to stay under 20 grams of carbs per day, and the weight just started coming off. And what was different was I felt great. And I'm going to go into more details in another video about the things that I experienced, but it was very different from anything else that I had experienced. So over the next year and a half or so, I went from around 387 pounds down to about 240 pounds, which was a huge weight loss for me. And I seemed to really stall around that time. Now, I wasn't really sure how to figure out the rest of it, but things seemed to be going well. And if I had stayed 240 pounds, that was a big win for me, because it was a lot better than 387 pounds. And I felt great. And I started a Facebook group called Do What John Did, where I tried to help some people, or at least give some information about what I did, and hope that it would help some people. And I spent the next few years really fluctuating a little bit between, I would say, 240 and 260, really in that range. And in fact, anytime when I would sort of force myself to go very low carb and restrict my calories to try to see if I could get down into those 230s, I would usually not feel very well, and it just really seemed like my body wanted to stay up around there, which again I was mostly okay with. Backing up now to the spring of 2019, somewhere around March or April, by listening to one of Dr. Ken Berry's videos, I got interested in the carnivore diet. And I saw that it was quite similar to what I was doing, and I thought, why not try it? Ken Berry's saying regarding the carnivore diet is try it for 30 days. Nothing you do for 30 days is going to hurt you, and you can do anything for 30 days. So I decided that for 30 days I was going to cut out all carbohydrates, including all vegetables, basically anything that wasn't meat and eggs, and I was going to see what happened. At the end of 30 days, I was down well into the 230s and feeling great. And I thought, wow, I could eat this way for the rest of my life. I feel amazing. And fast forward now to the last few months, where I've been under 200 pounds, probably for the first time since I was a teenager, I would say. And I have never felt better in my life. My wife and I at this moment are in vacation in Hawaii, and I have been climbing rocks and diving into waterfalls and doing things that shouldn't have been possible for me based on the way, on what my health trajectory was. So I'd love to go into more details, but I'm not going to yet. I'm going to save that for future videos if, Lord willing, I have time to do them. What I want to tell you right now, if you're watching this, and if you're dealing with morbid obesity, and for those that are watching this that have 20 or 30 pounds to lose and you're interested in weight loss stories, I hope this helps you a little bit. But those of you that are 60, 70, 100, 190 pounds overweight, you are my people. And I know what it's like to feel hopeless and to resign yourself to the fact that this is your life and that this is some sort of affliction that you have no control over. And I know what it's like to feel powerless over the food that you're eating, to feel weak-willed, and to feel like it can never change, and to feel like nothing will work. What I want you to take away from this video is that it's possible. People look at me and they say, you have so much willpower. And I can tell you this, and hopefully you'll hear these stories in future videos, that I have the least willpower of any of you. I would eat, and I would hide the food that I ate. I would be sneaky with money to be able to eat the food that I wanted to eat. I would eat till I was stuffed or sick and be frustrated that I couldn't eat more. If there was ever anyone without willpower, I was the worst of them. And if I could turn it around, I guarantee you, my friend, that you can too. So no matter how hopeless you feel, I want to assure you that I am a living example that there is hope. Right now, I just turned 48 years old a few days ago. I feel better than I have my entire adult life. I'm doing things I never thought I would be able to do. And it is all because I changed what I was eating. And I haven't changed how much I was eating, really, to be honest with you. I eat a lot of food, but I changed what I was eating, and I learned a lot of things about diet, and I learned a lot of things about my body and how it responds to certain things. And if again, hopefully I'll have time to make more videos to explain how I experimented on myself to come to this place in my life where my body has experienced this healing. Because I really want to share it with you, and I really want anyone that can be helped by my experience to be helped, because I've been there and I know what it's like. And what I want is for everyone out there that's feeling hopeless right now about their weight and that's feeling hopeless about their health to change to a posture of hope and excitement in their lives for what can take place by making a few changes in what you're putting in your body. I should also add, I don't exercise. So if you're going to be looking for an exercise plan from me that's going to explain how this happened, you're not going to find it. I'll give you my entire secret right now, because this is what I ended up on. I tried I counted my macros and I counted the carbs and I did all the things, and here's what I settled on, and this is what I do right now, is if it's meat or fat or an egg, and if I want to eat it, I eat it. And I eat as much of it as I want until I don't want to eat it anymore. That's it. That was the solution after all my experimentation. And I don't exercise, and I'm not saying you shouldn't exercise. In fact, I need to get a little bit stronger. but exercise had nothing to do with me correcting my health. I have some people I need to thank out there, and I need to thank them, and I need to direct you to them, because these people helped save my life. One of those people is Gary Taubes. I devoured all of his books, and the research he did has saved the lives of so many people. So Gary, if you ever see this video somehow, I owe you my life. And that's not an exaggeration. Dr. Robert Lustig, I have to watch his videos 100 times to even understand 10% of what he's talking about, but he's brilliant, and he's a pioneer in the science behind sugar and what it's doing to us. There's of course recently, Dr. Ken Berry, you helped convince me that the carnivore diet actually made some sense, and it helped me get over this last barrier, which has really transformed my life. Beyond that, there are so many other authors. Jason Fung is another one that's been amazing, and his work around intermittent fasting has also changed my life. And all of you out there who have posted your success stories, you also contributed to saving my life, because without the encouragement I received from those videos, I would have never started this effort to begin with. So I want to thank all of you and everyone who is pioneering this really grassroots realization that almost everything we know about nutrition science is wrong. And my hope is that this video can be just one more drop in the ocean to help encourage people as they find their way out of this dietary imprisonment that we found ourselves in over these last number of years. So more to come on this channel, hopefully, as I have time, but thank you to all of you, and please be encouraged. It is possible. If I can do it, I, who was the greatest of all sinners when it came to food indulgence and to self-control, if I can do it, you absolutely can. Do the research, look up the authors I just spoke about, and have this same victory and success for yourselves.
One of the things that keeps me motivated to not go back to the foods that make me sick, that are starting to make me diabetic, that made me almost 400 pounds, is that when you become healthy, when you correct your metabolic problems, when you're no longer sick, a whole world of adventure opens up to you. We got to experience this. And I don't know what foods you love or what foods bring you comfort, but I can tell you that there is no food that I ever ate that compares to the experiences that I'm having now that I'm healthy and able to do things that I never could before, and I certainly wouldn't be able to do now if I had kept up my lifestyle, which was leading me towards diabetes and an early death. Totally worth it. I thought for sure I was going to die, but I didn't.
Beautiful.